I'm Larry Quick, and this is Priority 6. And the question is, through pursuing opportunity and mitigating risk in the new COVID normal, the COVID economy, what sustainable value do you want to generate? And let me just repeat that. What sustainable value do you want to generate within this COVID normal, or the new COVID normal, and the new COVID economy? Your answer to this question is critical if you are seeking to be successful in the new COVID economy. So to give this priority some context, in our previous videos we've covered disruption, COVID normal and the new economy, and specifically looking at the COVID economy. That is, the primary drivers of the old economy are either broken or they're breaking. Also, the COVID economy is alive and well, and for those that know it, there's a great reset happening. And this great reset is partly being driven by the World Economic Forum, who sees the outcomes of COVID and the COVID normal, the COVID economy, as being critical for the future, particularly around how we manage climate change. Previously, we've talked about conditions in that you have to monitor and analyse those. The immediate and emergent conditions at scale, global to your local. The strong and the weak signals to be watching. For instance, the square metre economy and digital industries that are expanding very, very fast. We call it the digital fast flip. Conditions watching as part of what you do every day has never been more essential. We also looked at strategic opportunity risk, understanding opportunity and risk, two sides of the same coin. We also looked at conditions revealing strategic opportunity risk in terms of remote work support, teleservices, PanSafe, and China rising. We also talked about watching for unfair arbitrage, stranded assets, and mad investments. Those investments you put into managed adaptive decline. And finally, calling an opportunity a risk when you're looking at conditions depends on what you value. And that's what we're going to focus on in this video. So that question about calling an opportunity a risk depending on what you value is going to be a key point of what we look at in this video. We're also going to look at values and value propositions. You and your organisation and your value network, and particularly the authenticity of organisations. Now, what is authenticity and why is it critical in the COVID economy? And also looking at the role of profit in disruptive change and value generation, and understanding the end game is sustainable value generation, the cornerstone of those who will thrive in the COVID economy. So firstly, let's look at calling an opportunity or risk depending on what you value. Just think about it and ask, what do I really value? Because what you value can be largely driven by your values, and your values then impact your choice whether you interpret a condition as an opportunity or a risk. For instance, if I hold strong values about the past, it may prohibit me seeing opportunity in the future. Anything different may now seem as a bias towards a risk. And if, say, business as usual has created profit and been very successful in the past, any conditions that attacks that profit may seem to be a risk rather than an opportunity. And in this, think Kodak and the digital camera. The values of the executive were in what worked in the past, so much so that they failed to see the opportunity in the future that was taken up by Apple and basically killed Kodak as we knew it. And as another example, your values can also bias what conditions you watch, what specific things you're watching into the future. In 2008, a bank chairman came out and said the global financial crisis, no one could have reasonably foreseen these conditions, which was totally wrong. There are plenty of people seeing those conditions, just that he was blindsided by what he was looking for rather than looking at an open set of conditions that he had to look at in terms of opportunity and risk. And if you look at climate change and climate change denial, if you have that value, you're not going to see the opportunity that exists in climate change. Strongly value an old economy and you'll be biased away from seeing opportunity in a new economy. So, in COVID normal and the COVID economy, hold on to values of a pre-COVID economy and you may be biased about the opportunities and the risks of the new COVID normal and the COVID economy. So the key element of this is watch what you value and question, will it be valued in the future? Will what you value now be valued in the future? Your answer to that question is going to impact you, your organisation, your people, your customers and your suppliers. So it is a critical question to get very clear on with yourself and your team. So let's look at values, value networks and value propositions. It's pretty clear, values. From the dictionary, the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth or usefulness of something. So when we think about values, value networks and value proposition, we've got to think about it as a system of value and values. Things like a value span of influence. You, your people, your organisation, supplier and customers. Is there value alignment? If you value something, does that show up in your organisation? Does it show up in your people? And speaking of your value network, it's all about value exchange in a value network. You can think about it as a value chain, but it's more complex than that. It's a network of value creators, and they've exchanged value, and that's delivered and captured. And that's a key part of a business model. In a value network, there are deep interdependencies. If you impact one, you impact all in some shape or form. And overall, it's pretty cliche, but it's a win-win. Over time, unfair arbitrage ruins value networks. And thinking about your value proposition, what you put out to the world, is that based on what you're really offering? Is that you and your organisation, or is it your advertising agency that's making it up? Which leads us to understanding authenticity and its role in generating sustainable value. So what is authenticity and what is lost in losing it? The definition of authentic is based on facts, accurate and reliable. In philosophy, it means relating to or denoting an emotionally appropriate, significant, purposeful and responsive mode of human life. Now, just thinking about that, go back to your proposition, your value proposition, and ask yourself, is that authentic? So why is authenticity so critical in COVID normal and the new COVID economy? Well, firstly, when a major disruption occurs, much of the information and rules that people have relied on become invalid or at least suspect. So they're really grappling at what to think and what to do, and they need guidance, and they need authentic guidance. And when people become disoriented and confused, they really rely on authenticity. Now, in this environment, a lot of times fake news and false prophets reign. Even organisations' false value propositions. At a national level, think Trump and Trumpism in the USA. Think about what is authentic and how people are being led astray in that disoriented world. Then think about some value propositions without mentioning names, but think fresh food people, or more than money, or the inauthentic response of a large mining company in the decimation of an Aboriginal site. Is that authentic? In COVID normal and the new COVID economy, inauthenticity is high risk. So to reinforce once again, watch what you value and watch what you say you value. So let's look at the next point, the role of profit in sustainable value generation. Profit, an end result created by value generators, and we'll speak more about that in a second. But profit is a lag indicator of prior value that has been delivered and then captured in any one period. Let's parse that out. It's an indicator of prior value. So other value generators have delivered the profit, and that value has been generated to customers, delivered to customers, and captured by your organisation in any one period of time. So it's a lag indicator. And you can say that if you're not making a profit, you may not be generating value, but it could be that you're generating value over a 2-year period and that income hasn't come back in as a lag indicator. So what are the key value generators? We look at 6 primary value generators that you must manage. In summary form, firstly, environment to successfully operate. Now, number 1 is a planet. If we don't have a planet, nothing works. And also, there's the rules of that environment, governance, etc., what the market requires, etc. Secondly, social recognition and acceptance based on authenticity. Are your customers and suppliers liking what you do, valuing what you do? And is it authentic? 3, talking about customers and suppliers, a value network that is really owned by you, that has access to demand and supply channels. Owning the network owning the value network is critical. And then we have labour, or should I really say people, and people's competency and commitment to productivity, and that productivity to generate value. And that's where alignment of values is critical. And then we have capital, and obviously capital being money, and the circular fair flow of money through a value network, and also access to capital requirements in the future. And finally, values that are aligned, expressed and delivered. These 6 primary value generators must be managed. If you don't manage those 6 primary value generators, you will not create profit in a disruptive environment or even a stable state environment. And we come to the end game, which is sustainable value generation. And there's 4 points I'd like to reinforce. Firstly, leverage disruption to generate sustainable value. The new COVID normal and the new COVID economy are not stable state environments. So you have to think leverage disruption to generate sustainable value. Now, the ability to leverage disruption to generate sustainable value is the cornerstone of those who will thrive in the new COVID normal and COVID economy. And to make it clear on what we mean by generate, it's to produce or create through energy. You must put energy into that value creation or value generation. And it must be sustainable, enduring, able to be maintained at a certain rate or level, even when the times get tough. So finally, remember, values alignment. And let's go a bit deeper on that. Me, my family, my organisation, my suppliers, my customers, my greater community. Authenticity. Be very careful of false promises in a disoriented market. Profit is a lag indicator of prior value that has been delivered and captured in any one period. Growth is not in profit, but the ability to access capability to generate sustainable value. And finally, what authentic value will my organisation generate? We hope this video has been beneficial, and to ensure you get past and future videos, please join our network. So, in the meantime, think about it.